and I'm gonna cry. Katrina happened in New Orleans, and I knew, like, just something told me that my child was there. It was weird.
Was it a gut feeling or a God feeling?
I think they're one and the same.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a difference.
Yeah.
I really don't. And
Some people are born into wealth and comfort, while others are brought into it. This latter is the case of Louis Bullock. This boy would have grown up in Louisiana, where he would have been exposed to all sorts of vices due to his poor background, but thankfully, Sandra Bullock stepped in and adopted him, and now he is almost an adult. If you have always wanted to know the story of Sandra Bullock regarding her motherhood and how the young lad is doing today, then you are in the right place. All you have to do is watch the end of the video. The adoption process. Sandra Bullock's journey to motherhood through adoption began with a profound desire to build a family and nurture a child who needed a home. In 2010, a huge hurricane called Hurricane Katrina displaced a lot of families and rendered many children orphans. This incident, which would naturally have set baby Louis on a different path in life, was what connected him to the successful actress. Even though she was successful in her acting career, Bullock had always longed for motherhood, and adoption seemed the right path for her. In an interview with Parenting magazine in 2012, she described her decision as something she always knew in her heart she would do. She said in her own words, "Motherhood was something I felt deeply about for years before it happened. It just felt like it was meant to be." Her first adoption process began in 2010 when she was still married to Jesse James, but this period was filled with both excitement and personal turmoil. Bullock and James had started the adoption process together, and on January 2010, they welcomed Louis Bullock, a newborn boy from New Orleans, into their lives. However, just a few months later, a scandal tore their marriage apart. News of James's infidelity became public and unbearable for Bullock. Before long, divorce became a viable option for the couple. As you can guess, the divorce could not have come at a worse time. The moment the news became public, the adoption process became more complicated and emotionally challenging. Bullock found herself thrown a barrage of questions she had no answers to. As if that was not enough, she had to continue the process of adopting Louis as a single parent. In an interview with People magazine, she spoke about how her world changed overnight. "It was like I had to figure out how to process grief while also ensuring that Louis wasn't affected by the chaos around him." However, Bullock remained determined to continue the adoption on her own. Despite all these obstacles, she expressed a deep and immediate bond with Louis, recalling that she knew he was her son the moment she saw him. Her love and commitment to him were solid despite the personal challenges she was facing at the time. In an emotional interview with CBS Sunday Morning, she said, "So much had happened, and my obligation was to him, not to taint his life with my grief. He was a newborn, and they absorb everything." The adoption of baby Louis was finalized in the late 2010. She would have given up on adopting him for a very obvious reason if it were somebody else. She had divorced the man he made the adoption plans with. This was going to put the single mother tag on her, which, let's face it, has never really painted anyone in a good light. She later shared with British Vogue in 2013 how deeply Louis had impacted her life. "I didn't just adopt a baby, I adopted a new purpose," she explained, stressing that becoming a mother had brought new meaning to her life. Although she had hurdles to jump, especially as she had never nursed a child before, the bond between Sandra and Louis grew stronger with time. Once, she reflected that her decision to proceed with the adoption, even during the turmoil of her divorce, was the best choice she could have made, as the baby made me stronger, braver, and more capable than she ever thought possible. With this experience, one would think she wouldn't do it again, but she has an ace up her sleeve. Her experience with Louis opened the door for another adoption in 2015 when she adopted her daughter, Layla. One way to look at this is that she wanted to expand her family since she had the means. But she was trying to give Louise a sister so he wouldn't grow up an only child. This has been worth it in several ways for Sandra. Still, more than that, she has become a prominent voice for adoption, and her role as a single parent has only strengthened other women who might want to embark on such a journey, but are afraid for one reason: Louis's early years. Sandra Bullock's early years with her son, Louis, was a desirable commitment to balancing motherhood and career while fiercely protecting his privacy. After adopting Louis at 2010, Bullock shifted her focus toward giving him a stable and nurturing environment. Even though she was at the peak of her career, as she had just landed major films like Gravity and The Heat, Bullock made crucial efforts to prioritize her role as a mother. She mentioned in interviews that being a mother was the most rewarding part of her life, even surpassing her success in Hollywood. At first, Bullock kept Louis out of the public eye as much as possible. She so much wanted to protect his upbringing. She avoided exposing him to the media because she understood the importance of giving him a normal childhood away from the spotlight. Bullock shared in an interview with People that Louis even convinced her to turn down a movie role when he was just 6 years old. This may not be a regular occurrence with other people, but it did show the deep bond they share and his understanding of her career decisions. She once said Louis has a special wisdom about him, often describing him as an old soul. For a busy actress who knows her onions, no one would have blamed her if she decided to stop at just one child. But she was a considerate mother who knew how lonely it would be for Louis, especially when she was filming at work. Bullock expanded her family in 2015 by adopting a daughter, Layla. Unlike Louise, who was in fact 3 when he was adopted, Layla was 3 at the time. Like her brother, Louis, Layla was adopted from Louisiana, and their bond quickly developed. Bullock described Louis and Layla as balancing each other, with Louis being the wise and thoughtful sibling, and Layla being the energetic and fearless one. Bullock shared that adopting Layla wasn't easy, as the process almost faltered due to a paparazzi incident that put the adoption at risk. Still, her perseverance saw the adoption process to the end. Before we go further, let's look into Sandra Bullock's personal life and her motivations for becoming a mother. A peek into Sandra Bullock's life. Sandra Bullock's career and personal life have always been closely linked, particularly in recent years, as she has focused more on her family. Bullock, known for her overall versatility as an actress, rose to fame in the 1990s with blockbuster movies like Speed in 1994 and While You Were Sleeping in 1995. Her career flourished with critically acclaimed roles in movies such as Miss Congeniality in year 2002 and The Blind Side in 2009. Bullock became known for her resilience as her career grew, especially after her highly publicized divorce from Jesse James in 2010. Following the end of her marriage, Bullock adopted her first child, Louis, and then her daughter, Layla, 5 years later. Sandra has kept her romantic relationships mostly private since her divorce. She has been in a long-term relationship with photographer Brian Randall since 2015. While they keep a low profile, Bullock has described Randall as a supportive partner and an essential figure who, until his death, helped her raise her children. Sandra Bullock's reasons and speculations for adopting black children. People have often approached her to ask personal questions like, "Are you the mother of these kids? Why aren't you black like them?" As hilarious as this may sound, this is a really serious matter. Being a white actress, one of the challenges Sandra Bullock faces is the constant, sometimes ridiculous questions she has to answer because she adopted black children. Agreeing to be Louis and Layla's mother has sparked various public reactions and speculations at different times. Many have wondered why Bullock, a white actress, chose to adopt black children. In interviews, Bullock has explained that her decision wasn't about race but about love and wanting to provide a stable, loving home for children who needed one. She has emphasized that her children came to her most naturally, and race was not a factor in her desire to adopt. Bullock has also been open about the process of adoption being lengthy and challenging, but her connection with her children was immediate and deeply emotional. She describes how she felt an instant bond with Louis, whom she adopted from New Orleans in 2010. When it came to adopting her daughter Layla in 2015, Bullock has said that she felt her family wasn't complete until Layla joined them. In essence, her decision was driven by the desire to be a mother and to give children in need a loving home, regardless of race. However, there have been speculations and criticisms about her choice to adopt black children. Some critics questioned whether adopting black children was a way for celebrities to gain attention or make a social statement. Bullock has been largely private about her personal life, but she has spoken out in support of transracial adoption, noting that what matters is the child's well-being, not the race of the parent or child. She has defended her family by clarifying that her children are her greatest priority, and she has worked hard to provide them with a stable, loving environment. On November 2021, she sat down with Jada Pinkett Smith on Red Table Talk. In the episode, they talked honestly about her experiences as a mother to two black children, Louis and Layla. The episode allowed Bullock to open up about her challenges and learning curves as a white woman raising black children in America. One of the main themes Bullock touched on was the racial disparities in society and how she had to educate herself about the realities her children would face growing up. She admitted to being protective, sometimes overly so, because she knows the world sees her children differently due to their race. Bullock intensified her worries about how society might treat them differently based on their skin color. Sandra also discussed the issues of raising black children and her fears for their future, particularly regarding how they would be treated in certain situations, like interacting with law enforcement. In a heartfelt moment, she mentioned, "I have the same feelings as a woman with brown skin being her baby's mom. It's the mother-child dynamic, but because of the skin that we're in, there will be different issues that we need to discuss." Jada Pinkett Smith and her co-hosts, Adrienne Banfield Norris and Willow Smith, acknowledged the significance of the conversation. They hammered the importance of understanding and learning how to advocate for black children within a system that is often prejudiced. Bullock also revealed how both Louis and Layla have made her more aware of her privilege and opened her eyes to the challenges of raising black children in a predominantly white world. She expressed gratitude for the lessons they've taught her about love, identity, and empathy. Life away from the spotlight. Capturing celebrities and their children is the life work of paparazzi and media houses. However, Sandra Bullock was not a fan of this, as she has always known that cameras and media do nothing to children but rob them of their innocent childhood. Consequently, she made it a point to raise her children, Louis and Layla, out of the public eye. Bullock's decision to protect her family from media attention became clear when she adopted Louis in 2010. She was known as the mother who would walk on hot coals rather than have her children's pictures taken. She recognized the challenges of fame, and as a wonderful mother, she wanted to ensure that Louis and Layla could grow up without the debilitating pressures of being constantly in the spotlight. In her effort to keep Louis's upbringing as private as possible, Bullock has shared very little about their daily lives. She intentionally keeps her children away from Hollywood events, only allowing them to appear in public under controlled circumstances. She once remarked that Louis and Layla were her top priorities, and their well-being came before her career. Speaking about motherhood, Bullock stated, "My children are everything. I am very protective of them. I want them to have as much of a normal childhood as possible." Also, Bullock has been vocal about how profoundly Louis has influenced her life. She frequently describes how being a mother transformed her priorities, giving her greater purpose and joy. In an interview she granted in 2018 with InStyle, Bullock revealed how much Louis had changed her life. "I finally realized, oh, this is what I was supposed to do when I grew up. Not be a movie star, but be a mom." Bullock also described Louis as someone too wise for his young age. She continued by sharing that from a young age, he had wisdom and sensitivity beyond his years. She credits him with giving her a new perspective on life and helping her focus more on what is important. In another interview, Bullock spoke of her deep connection with Louis, saying that they share an understanding of each other. She said Louis gets her, and their relationship has allowed her to redefine what it means to be both a mother and a woman in Hollywood. She also expressed that her focus as a parent is providing a stable and secure environment for him and his sister, Layla. Though Bullock has largely kept Louis out of the public eye, there have been a few notable occasions where he has accompanied her to events. One such moment was in 2015 when Bullock took Louis to the premiere of Minions, a rare red carpet appearance for the two. Bullock's protective nature was evident as she walked hand in hand with Louis, ensuring he felt comfortable in the highly publicized event. Another public appearance came when Louis joined Bullock at the 2018 People's Choice Awards, where she received the award for Favorite Movie Actress. Although he didn't walk on the red carpet, Louis was spotted in the audience supporting his mother. If anything, these moments gave glimpses into Bullock's careful approach to balancing her public persona with her role as a mother, ensuring that her children only participate in certain events on their terms. Louis's personality. Over the years, Sandra Bullock has provided several peeks into her son Louis's personality. Whenever she gets asked questions about Louis, she describes him with admiration and love. According to Bullock, Louis is thoughtful, compassionate, and wise beyond his years. In an interview in 2018 with InStyle, Bullock explained, "Louis is the most thoughtful person I know. He's wise and kind, and I feel so lucky to be his mom." Also, she shared that Louis has a calm and down-to-earth nature, which she often credits as helping her stay concentrated. She has described him as having an innate ability to sense emotions and understand situations, often providing comfort when she is stressed or overwhelmed. In an interview with Hoda Kotb Today, Bullock revealed that Louis comforted her when she once felt upset by saying, "Mommy, you're not alone. I'll always be with you." She continued by saying that this instance was just one of the many times Louis's empathy has come into play. Now you are wondering what Louis's interests are. Given the environment he grew up in, his interests and passion are bound to manifest. Although Sandra Bullock has kept many details about Louis's hobbies and interests private to maintain his privacy, she has shared that he enjoys creative activities. Louis is interested in art, music, and building things. This shows his passion for creativity and hands-on projects. Once, Bullock mentioned that Louis is fascinated by building and creating, including crafting something out of Legos or developing imaginative projects. In her interview with People, Bullock shared that Louis is always thinking ahead and coming up with ideas. Bullock has encouraged and nurtured this creativity. How did she do it, you might want to ask? She did it by allowing Louis to explore his passions without feeling restricted. Bullock has said that she wants her children to feel free to express themselves in any way they feel comfortable, and Louis's love for creativity is indeed a part of that expression. As a celebrity, what kind of parenting philosophy does she hold dear? Let's find out. Sandra Bullock has a clear and thoughtful approach to parenting, which has helped raise Louis into the kind and compassionate individual she often speaks of. Bullock's parenting philosophy is more about encouraging the independence, creativity, and compassion inherent in her children. In multiple interviews, Bullock has expressed her desire to raise her children to be good people above all else. She wants Louis and his sister Layla to grow up understanding the importance of compassion, forgiveness, and hard work. Also, Bullock has been quite open about juggling parenting as a single mother with the challenges of her career. In an interview with USA Today, she explained, "I want them to be self-reliant, strong, and know that they can do anything they set their minds to." She has shared that she encourages Louis to pursue his passions and make decisions for himself, thus building a sense of independence in him from a young age. Sandra Bullock's charity and activism. It is not uncommon to wonder whether Bullocks give back to society. Sandra Bullock has a long history of charitable involvement, particularly in causes related to children, education, and disaster relief. Her advocacy extends beyond adoption awareness, and her philanthropy is as much a part of her legacy as her film career. Bullock has donated millions to various causes, including the American Red Cross, to which she has contributed after major natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina and the 2010 Haiti earthquake. Additionally, Bullock supports organizations that focus on children and education. She has quietly supported charities like The Kindred Life, which aids foster children, the system by which she became a mother. Her experiences as an adoptive mother have informed much of her charitable work, including her efforts to improve educational resources for disadvantaged children. She has also been involved with organizations that focus on bettering the lives of children in foster care, advocating for reform in foster and adoption systems. Bullock's influence reaches beyond Hollywood, as her platform allows her to advocate for change and bring attention to issues affecting children and marginalized communities like Louis and Layla. She continues using her voice and resources to discuss an inclusive and compassionate world for future generations. Louis Bardo Bullock Life Today. Louis Bardo Bullock, now 14 years old, has mostly been kept out of the public eye to give him a normal upbringing and glimpses of his life, personality, and interests. At this stage in his life, Louis is grappling with adolescence under the watchful yet protective guidance of his mother, who has taken measures to ensure that he isn't exposed to the pressures of Hollywood too soon. One of the most considerable aspects of Louis's life is the normality that Sandra Bullock has worked so hard to maintain for him. Despite being a high-profile celebrity, she has shielded Louis and his younger sister Layla from the spotlight. In interviews, Sandra mentioned that her children are her top priority and that her world revolves around them. Living in Los Angeles, Louis is raised in a loving environment, away from the paparazzi and media frenzy. Sandra Bullock's deliberate decision to keep her family life private has allowed Louis to grow up without the pressures of being in the public eye. While we don't see him on red carpets or featured in magazines, those close to the family note that he's living a childhood filled with love, security, and, most importantly, a sense of normalcy. In one interview, Sandra shared that Louis has a strong sense of responsibility and takes his role as an older brother to Layla very seriously. He is protective and caring and has naturally taken on the role of a nurturer within the family. Though specifics about Louis's hobbies have been kept private, there are a few insights into his interests. Sandra has mentioned that Louis loves learning and is naturally curious about the world. While we haven't seen him in any public activities or projects, it's clear that Sandra has encouraged his intellectual growth. Given his thoughtful and introspective nature, it wouldn't be surprising to learn that Louis excels academically. Regarding recreational activities, Louis enjoys outdoor adventures with his family. Sandra has been spotted taking her children on nature walks, bike rides, and other outdoor excursions. Louis enjoys a balanced lifestyle that includes both intellectual pursuits and physical activity. As for career aspirations, it's still a bit too early to say where Louis's interests might lead him. However, given his upbringing, he has the potential to follow many paths, whether in the entertainment industry like his mother, or in other areas that interest him. Sandra has emphasized that she supports whatever dreams and goals her children have, so Louis's future career moves are certainly something to watch. When asked about the problem attached to raising adolescents, Sandra Bullock said her parenting style has been quite helpful in raising Louis and Layla to be kind, compassionate, and aware of the world around them. She's talked about the importance of diversity and inclusion in her household. As Louis is of African American descent, Sandra has made efforts to ensure that he grows up with a strong sense of identity and understanding of his heritage. While Louis hasn't made any public career moves yet, his future holds many possibilities. Given his thoughtful nature and curiosity, he will likely pursue fields that allow him to explore the world more deeply. One thing is certain, though, whether he chooses to pursue either science or art, Louis has been equipped with everything needed to have a successful life. And with Sandra Bullock as his mother, he'll have the guidance and support to follow any path he feels passionate about. Also, there's the chance that he may venture into the entertainment world, much like other celebrity children have. Still, for now, Louis is focusing on his education and enjoying his teenage years away from the spotlight. What do you think about Sandra Bullock and her son, Louis? Do you think she's doing a great job at parenting or needs to step up? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.